All right, so one thing that I know I'm going to need is this fetch Pokemon that we're going to grab from the Pokemon module. And here's how we're going to use it. So I'll just go ahead and copy that. And here's where we need it. We are rendering this Pokemon data view with this Pokemon. We're also rendering that image right there. And I need to get that Pokemon's information loaded up. And so here, I guess I'll just stick it right in here. We'll put in Pikachu, and then we'll handle our success. We'll deal with failures later. And our success handler is going to get the Pokemon data right here, right? That makes sense. And we'll say Pokemon is equal to the Pokemon data, right? That would sort of make sense. The problem here, there's actually a couple problems. First of all, this is a side effect and we don't do those in our render function. Like, just not a good idea. Don't do that stuff. So that's one problem. The second problem is that this callback right here is not going to be called before this is rendered. And so what is React supposed to do while this callback is being called? And in addition to that, how does React know when this callback's called and we've got our Pokemon data ready? So we need to give React some mechanism to say, hey, React, this Pokemon info component's not ready to render yet because it doesn't have its data. And so I'm going to let you know when it does have its data so you can trigger a re-render. Well, so what we can do is we can get this as a Pokemon promise here. And I'm going to move this up and out to get that out of there. And then let's go ahead and fix this so we can reassign that Pokemon variable. So we'll say let here. And now we've got this Pokemon promise and I can say, hey, if I don't have a Pokemon yet, then I know that the Pokemon promise hasn't resolved yet. We haven't assigned it to the Pokemon data that's come back. And if that's the case, then I need to give React this Pokemon promise so it knows when we're good to re-render the Pokemon info component. Well, you might think that the natural thing to do here is to return the Pokemon promise. However, you'll find in the extra credits that this would not work super well. So instead, we're going to do a throw right here. So we're going to throw the Pokemon promise, and React is rendering this Pokemon info inside of a try-catch. So it can catch that Pokemon promise and attach its own then handler that says, hey, when this is resolved, then let's go ahead and trigger a re-render of the Pokemon info component. And once we've successfully done that, we know that the Pokemon data has actually loaded. And so when we go through and re-render this again, we're going to actually return the JSX rather than throwing that Pokemon promise again. So we're almost there. We're not quite finished. And if I save this, we're going to get a white screen of sadness. If we pull up our DevTools, though, we are going to get the fact that we did make a post request to the Pokemon API here. We have our request right here, and we have our response, which will include our Pokemon data. So we are actually getting the Pokemon response. That's awesome. Let's take a look at the error. We have an error in the Pokemon info component. We need an error boundary to handle that. Well, we'll deal with that later. Here's what it's saying. The Pokemon info suspended while rendering, but no fallback UI was specified. So we need to add a suspense fallback component higher in the tree to provide a loading indicator or placeholder to display. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, and look, Cody the Koala Bear is just waiting there for us. We need to render React suspense right here. And we'll put Pokemon info inside of that. And then we can say our fallback UI is a div that just says loading Pokemon ... And with that now, hey look, it's rendering. Awesome. So we are off to the races here. Let's just do a quick review and get an understanding of what's going on. So right when this module is loaded, we're going to start fetching this Pokemon. But this is asynchronous, so the module continues to go down and we export this app. That app gets rendered to the page. And so then this app function is called. We say, hey, we want to render this Pokemon info. So then React says, all right, sweet. Let's go ahead and render this Pokemon info. And we say, oh, we don't have the Pokemon yet. So let's go ahead and throw that Pokemon promise. And React says, oh, okay, I'll catch that and I'll take this React suspense component that you have a little higher in the tree and I will render the fallback instead. And you can observe that right there, loading Pokemon. Awesome. And so while we're waiting for that promise to resolve, this is just what's going to be rendered in its place. And then the promise resolves, we assign the Pokemon to the Pokemon data that we got back. And React says, oh, sweet. So that promise that was suspending this Pokemon info component has now resolved. So let me go ahead and trigger a re-render of this component. And this time around, the Pokemon has been assigned to some Pokemon data, and so we don't need to throw the Pokemon promise, and instead we return the UI based on that data. And that is the total fundamentals of suspense.